Football is a really good sport with even better moments from time to time. So that's why we wanted to talk about some of the greatest matches that happened in the World Cup, so we can all appreciate some of these legends once more. And of course, if you love videos like this, you should definitely subscribe to our channel, ALKM The World of Sports, for more videos like this. If you did that, let's start with our first legendary match. Our first match is from the 1986 quarterfinals with Argentina 2 and England 1. Maybe great is not the right word for this competition, but certainly one of the most memorable matches in the history of the World Cup, thanks to one man, Diego Maradona. The little Argentine champion showed both sides of his game that day against England, the great talent and the cheating pig. El Diego opened the scoring that day in Mexico by firing the ball over Peter Shilton and into the net, and in one of the most scandalous moments in World Cup history. Just 4 minutes later, Maradona broke the hearts of the English, not with his fist, but with his boots. He beat the entire English team on his own half, including the goalkeeper, and slid the ball into the net for 2-0. Then, almost 20 years later, in the group stage 2014, we have Netherlands and Spain. Spain entered the 2014 World Cup as the reigning world champions, and while the Spanish were clearly a slightly weaker team, the idea that they would be beaten 5-1 by anyone seemed completely far-fetched. But whatever Louis van Gaal had said at halftime had an effect, as the Netherlands came out of the dressing room and added 4 more goals. 2 by Arjen Robben, 1 by Stefan de Vrij, and a memorable flying header by Van Persie. The world champions were defeated in unforgettable fashion. Let's go back in time for the quarterfinal 1970 West Germany against England. England traveled to Mexico as defending champions to defend the World Cup they had won at home. The English were not particularly successful in the group stage with 2 1-0 wins and a narrow defeat to Brazil, but they came to life in the quarterfinals against old foe Germany. Alan Mullery and Martin Peters gave the world champions a 2-0 lead, which they did not relinquish until 22 minutes from time. But then the Germans showed their impressible will and struck back through Franz Beckenbauer and a brilliant header by Uwe Seeler. The game went into overtime when the English committed the cardinal sin of giving Gerd Müller space in the penalty area. He punished them with a volley, giving the Germans a remarkable comeback victory and a place in the quarterfinals. And nobody could forget Germany crushing Brazil 7-1. Brazil, the 2014 hosts, had fought their way into the semifinals and entered the match against Germany as favorites to win. But with star player Neymar out with a nasty back injury and captain and defensive leader Thiago Silva also missing, the home team was devastated. Germany took the lead after 11 minutes thanks to a poor defensive position and were already 5-0 up by halftime, overrunning the Brazilian defense with ease and leaving the kids in the stands crying. It looked like the older boys were bullying the younger kids in a school game. The Brazilians eased up a bit in the second half, scoring only 2 more goals before Oscar equalized in the final minute. But the humiliation for the hosts was complete nonetheless. Rarely has there been a more embarrassing result in the history of World Cup. This time we have the finals of 1954 West Germany against Hungary. Hard to believe, but in 1954 Hungary was the best team in the world, and they showed it at the World Cup in Switzerland. In the 2 games of the group stage, they beat South Korea 9-0 and West Germany 8-3. They beat Brazil in the quarterfinals and Uruguay in the semifinals, and met West Germany again in the final. In total, they were undefeated in 31 games. Hungary was already 2-0 ahead after 8 minutes, and it looked like a record-breaking defeat. But the Germans held their nerve and equalized at 2-2 halftime. The Hungarians were still clear favorites at this point, but they were tired, and their star player, Ferenc Puskás, was far from fit again. They let up, and West Germany scored the winning goal 6 minutes from the end through Helmut Rahn in a sensational finish. 1966 was a great year with Portugal against North Korea. Portugal was one of the favorites to win the 1966 World Cup, led by its inspirational striker, Eusebio. North Korea, on the other hand, was considered a gross underdog with little chance of making it past their group. But thanks to a late equalizer against Chile and a 1-0 win over Italy, the North Koreans snuck out of Group 4 to face Portugal in the quarterfinals. The underdogs had taken the lead just 1 minute and were even up 3-0 after 25 minutes. Portugal was shocked, but Eusebio lived up to his reputation as one of the best players in the world. From the 27th to the 59th minute, the powerhouse scored 4 goals to put his team ahead. A late 5th goal from Jose Augusto made the result perfect, and the Portuguese advanced to the semifinals. The 1982 semifinal was great too, with West Germany winning in penalties against France. This classic semifinal had a little bit of everything. There was plenty of controversy, and history was made at the same time. The match in Seville started rather frantically, with Pierre Litbarski putting West Germany ahead after 17 minutes, and Michael Platini equalizing from the penalty spot just 8 minutes later. The real controversy arose in the second half when German goalkeeper Harald Schumacher almost decapitated an opponent. Patrick Battiston was on his way to goal and had flicked the ball past the keeper when Schumacher took the Frenchman out with such force that he knocked him out, not even knocking his teeth out. Incredibly, the referee did not even give a free kick, and with the ball trundling out of bounds, the Frenchmen were having none of it. The game eventually went into extra time when it flared up again. Marius Trésor and Alain Gies gave France a 3-1 lead with 20 minutes left, but the Germans did what they do best and kept at it. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and Klaus Fischer's goals ensured the first penalty shootout in World Cup history. Germany was actually the first loser of the penalty shootout, but 2 French misses after the Germans, a place in the final after an epic duel. Now we have the 1966 final, England versus West Germany. England's path to the World Cup final on home soil was not exactly marked by exciting games. While they were good, there were no classics on the way to the tournament, but the final up against West Germany more than made up for it. In front of a crowd of almost 97,000 at Wembley Stadium, Helmut Haller quickly put the Germans ahead, but Jeff Hurst equalized just as quickly to make it 1-1 after 18 minutes. Martin Peters looked to have secured England the win when he netted with 12 minutes remaining, but Wolfgang Weber had other ideas and equalized for the visitors a minute from time, scoring an unfortunate goal. It went into extra time, and the controversy started when Hurst thought he had scored his second goal, but the Germans disagreed. The Russian linesman came to the English's rescue and ruled that the ball had crossed the line, giving the English the lead again. Hurst then scored his third and England's 4th goal to make it 4-2, allowing Bobby Moore to lift the famous trophy. Then our last one, 1982 second group stage with Italy versus Brazil. Brazil was a sensational team in 1982, much stronger than the Italians, but the men in blue have a habit of spoiling the party at World Cups. This was the second game of the group stage, with both teams having already beaten Argentina, so it was effectively a quarterfinal, and Italy took the lead just after 5 minutes when Paolo Rossi scored his first goal of the tournament. But Brazil refused to be rattled, and Zico equalized for the South Americans after a combination with Socrates, but Rossi put the Italians back in front, and it was 2-1 at halftime. Another Brazilian star, Falcao, made things clear in the 68th minute when he was given too much space and scored from the edge of the box. Due to the goal difference in the group stage, a draw was enough for Brazil, so Italy had to go on the offensive. Again, it was Rossi who scored a hat-trick 15 minutes from time with a turning shot from the edge of the penalty area. The Italians closed the bag and secured their place in the last 4 with their wonderful attacking skills. And that was our last match for this video. Of course, you can always tell us your favorite football match down in the comment section. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, ALKM, the world of sports. So, we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.